In the unforgiving calculus of modern air combat, victory is no longer measured in the thrust of an engine or the G rating of an airframe, but in the silent, instantaneous flow of data. Every composite panel is shaped to deceive, every sensor is a node in a sprawling network, and every line of code is a potential kill chain. It is a domain where the platform is merely a vessel for the system, and the system is king. Into this arena of digital lethality, the Chengdu Aerospace Corporation has introduced a machine that is both a throwback and a harbinger, the J-20S. This is not merely a twin-seat variant of China's premier fifth-generation fighter. It is the world's first operational tandem-cockpit stealth aircraft, a flying command node conceived from its inception to be the conductor of an unmanned orchestra. The J-20S is the heart of a nascent operational concept, an airhive where a human mind, augmented by a second, is deliberately placed back at the apex of the decision-making pyramid to command a swarm of robotic vassals. This design choice represents a profound doctrinal divergence from the West's pursuit of ever more autonomous, AI-driven collaborative combat aircraft, CCAs. It is a decision born of strategic calculation, technological pragmatism, and a tacit acknowledgement of the crushing cognitive burden that the modern battlespace places on a single human pilot. The development of the J-20S is an admission that the sheer volume of information from stealth management, electronic warfare, sensor fusion, and the command of multiple unmanned assets has already exceeded the capacity of one person, and perhaps the current maturity of China's artificial intelligence to adequately assist them. This human-centric approach, a blend of ambition and limitation, reveals a unique and potent, if potentially brittle, vision for the future of aerial warfare, and understanding its architecture is paramount to comprehending the People's Liberation Army Air Force's PLAF strategy for seizing air superiority in the contested skies of the 21st century. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dives into the technology that will define tomorrow's conflicts. The physical form of the J-20S is an exercise in evolutionary engineering built upon the foundation of the single-seat J-20 Mighty Dragon. The baseline airframe is a large, heavy fighter, measuring between 20.3 and 20.5 meters in length, with a distinctive canard delta wing configuration that prioritizes aerodynamic performance and maneuverability, accepting a slight compromise in frontal aspect stealth compared to the pure flying wing or blended wing body designs of its American counterparts. The most significant structural modification for the S variant is a carefully engineered fuselage extension of approximately 70 centimeters to accommodate the second tandem cockpit. This addition was achieved without a catastrophic shift in the aircraft's center of gravity, a non-trivial feat of aeronautical engineering that preserves the core flight characteristics of the original design. The airframe's construction relies on a sophisticated blend of advanced composite materials and titanium alloys, all meticulously shaped to minimize its radar cross-section, RCS. This is further augmented by a coating of a dark gray, almost black radar-absorbent material, RAM, that gives the aircraft its menacing appearance. Combined with features like diverterless supersonic inlets, DSIs, which eliminate the need for complex and radar-reflective intake ramps, and sawtooth patterns on panel edges and landing gear doors to scatter radar waves. The J-20's frontal RCS is estimated to be in the range of 0.027 to 0.05 square meters, not quite as low as the F-22's reported 0.001 square meters, but still exceptionally difficult to detect for all but the most advanced sensor systems. However, the heart of this dragon remains its most persistent vulnerability: its propulsion. The J-20S is currently powered by a pair of domestically produced Shenyang WS-10C turbofans. These engines, recognizable by their serrated nozzles, designed to reduce infrared signature, provide adequate thrust but lack the performance to enable true supercruise, the ability to maintain supersonic flight without the fuel-guzzling use of afterburners. This places the J-20 at a distinct kinematic disadvantage against aircraft like the F-22. The long-promised solution, the CNWS-15 engine, which is slated to provide supercruise and thrust vectoring capabilities, remains perpetually in development, plagued by persistent reports of reliability issues, durability concerns, and premature wear during testing. It stands as a testament to the fact that mastering advanced metallurgy and turbine blade manufacturing is a far more unforgiving discipline than assembling an airframe, making the WS-15 more of a political and industrial aspiration than an operational reality for the time being. While its propulsion may be a point of weakness, the J-20S's sensor suite is designed to make it a premier intelligence gathering and command platform. The nose cone was reprofiled from the single-seat variant to house an upgraded KLJ-5 active electronically scanned array (AESA) radar, which reportedly incorporates gallium nitride (GaN) technology for higher power and efficiency. This radar, believed to contain as many as 1,856 transmit-receive modules, is the cornerstone of the aircraft's ability to detect, track, and engage targets at extended ranges, forming the primary sensor for its role as a battle manager. Complementing the active radar is a suite of passive sensors. Situated under the nose is an advanced electro-optical targeting system, EOTS, for passive detection and targeting of air and ground threats, while a distributed aperture system, conceptually similar to the F-35's AN/AAQ-37, provides 360-degree spherical infrared coverage around the aircraft. This powerful combination of active and passive sensors allows the J-20s to function as a stealthy mini AWACS, capable of building a high-fidelity picture of the battle space from within contested airspace, a role traditionally reserved for large, vulnerable, and non-stealthy command and control aircraft operating hundreds of kilometers behind the front lines. The true innovation, however, lies in the second cockpit. The rear station is a fully digitized command center, the brain of the Airhive. The Weapons Systems Officer, WSO, is presented with the battle space on a large multifunction main display, supplemented by redundant touchscreen interfaces. From this station, the WSO is not merely a passenger or a trainer, they are an active battle manager, tasked with interpreting fused sensor data, managing the aircraft's electronic warfare suite, and most critically, commanding the unmanned assets under their control via secure data links. This division of labor is fundamental to the concept. The pilot in the front focuses on flying the aircraft and surviving the immediate tactical situation, while the WSO in the back focuses on the broader strategic picture, orchestrating the actions of the swarm. This human-centric approach to data management stands in contrast to the highly automated sensor fusion found in aircraft, like the F-35, where the system is designed to present a single, coherent image to a lone pilot. The J-20S's distributed architecture, where a human actively sorts and exploits information, suggests a potential software lag in China's ability to achieve fully automated AI-driven fusion. The WSO effectively becomes a human processor, a quarterback in the sky who manages the complex interplay of the aircraft's own powerful EW suite, the data feeds from its drones, and the information from other networked assets like early warning aircraft. This allows the J-20S to act as a command and control hub, directing multi-platform operations, coordinating strikes, and managing electronic suppression in a contested electromagnetic spectrum, a cognitive load that would be overwhelming for a single pilot. For self-defense and offensive action, the J-20S retains the primary internal weapons bay of its predecessor. A significant upgrade comes from the redesign of its primary beyond visual range missile, the PL-15. The latest variants feature innovative folding rear fins and narrowed forward fins, a modification that allows the J-20's main bay to increase its internal carriage from 4 to 6 missiles, a 50% increase in firepower that significantly enhances its combat persistence without compromising its stealth profile. 2 smaller lateral bays each house a PL-10 short-range, high off-bore sight missile for close-in engagements. The instruments of this airborne orchestra are not a homogeneous group of identical drones, but a complementary ecosystem of specialized unmanned combat aerial vehicles, UCAVs, each designed for a distinct role within the airhive. The primary deep strike and reconnaissance asset is the Chengdu GJ-11, ominously named Sharp Sword. This is a subsonic UCAV optimized for one thing above all else: stealth. Its design is a classic flying wing, measuring approximately 10 to 12.2 meters in length with a 14-meter wingspan, and is conspicuously devoid of vertical tail surfaces, a feature that drastically reduces its radar cross-section, particularly from the side and rear aspects. Its low observability is further enhanced by a serpentine, S-shaped air intake on top of the fuselage that masks the highly reflective engine fan blades from ground-based radar, and a shielded, flattened exhaust nozzle that minimizes its thermal signature to evade infrared sensors. The GJ-11 carries its entire payload of up to 2,000 kalorn-K, a mix of precision-guided bombs, anti-radiation missiles for attacking enemy radars, or advanced sensor packages, within 2 internal weapons bays sealed by serrated doors. This internal carriage is critical as it allows the GJ-11 to penetrate deep into heavily defended airspace to conduct suppression of enemy air defenses, SEAD, intelligence gathering, or precision strike missions without compromising its stealthy profile. With an estimated combat radius exceeding 1,500 kilometers, a GJ-11 launched from mainland China can hold at risk key military installations across the First Island chain, and when deployed from a carrier, its reach extends much further. Recent appearances of the GJ-11 at military parades have revealed a crucial modification: visible folding wing hinges. This design feature is a classic indicator of carrier operations, strongly suggesting that a naval variant is not just conceptual, but actively being prepared for deployment on platforms like the Type 076 amphibious assault ship or China's growing fleet of aircraft carriers. Satellite imagery has corroborated this, showing GJ-11 mock-ups at a full-scale carrier test facility in Wuhan and a new site on Changxing Island, near where the Type 076 is under construction. This naval integration transforms the GJ-11 from a land-based penetrator into a global power projection asset, capable of extending a carrier group's strike range and conducting swarming attacks against enemy warships. It is the scalpel of the swarm, designed for silent surgical strikes, whether launched from a coastal airbase or the deck of a ship at sea. Complementing the subsonic penetrator is a conceptual but far more aggressive asset, a high-performance UCAV best represented by the AVIC Dark Sword prototype, which can be thought of as a conceptual collaborative combat aircraft, or CCA-1. Where the GJ-11 prioritizes stealth and endurance, the Dark Sword is built for speed and agility. Its design is more akin to a manned fighter, featuring a canard delta layout and a diverterless supersonic inlet that enables it to achieve speeds of up to Mach 2. Its intended role is not that of a lone penetrator, but as a true, loyal wingman for air superiority missions. It is designed to fly in close coordination with the J-20S, racing ahead to engage enemy fighters, acting as a forward sensor node, or sacrificing itself to protect the manned command aircraft. This doctrinal specialization is critical. It shows the PLEF is not simply developing a generic multi-role drone, but a sophisticated, task-organized system. The GJ-11 is the vanguard, sent in first to silently dismantle air defenses and create a safe corridor. The J-20S can then follow with its Dark Sword escorts to establish air superiority and execute its own mission. This creates a lethal, multi-layered tactical playbook, with the slow, stealthy scalpel paving the way for the fast, deadly broadsword. The invisible architecture that binds this system together is the airhive's most critical and most vulnerable component. Command and control between the J-20s and its unmanned assets is maintained through a secure, high-bandwidth, low-probability of intercept data link. While the precise specifications and operational range of this link are highly classified, its resilience in a contested electromagnetic environment is the system's Achilles heel. This digital tether is the conduit for all commands. If it is successfully jammed or severed by enemy electronic warfare, the drones, lacking high-level autonomous decision-making, would be rendered mission ineffective. From the rear cockpit, the WSO acts as the human-on-the-loop mission commander, directly managing the trajectories, sensor feeds, and weapon employment for a small formation of approximately 4 to 6 drones at a time. A hypothetical combat sortie, particularly in a scenario involving a Taiwan contingency, illustrates this doctrine in practice. A J-20S, callsign Dragon Lead, penetrates hostile airspace, maintaining electronic silence to preserve its stealth. The WSO, analyzing the tactical display, tasks 2 GJ-11s, Sharp Sword 1 and Sharp Sword 2, to proceed to pre-planned target areas and autonomously prosecute enemy surface-to-air missile sites using their onboard anti-radiation seekers. As the GJ-11s begin their attack run, Dragon Lead's passive 360-degree infrared sensors detect the heat blooms of 2 incoming enemy fighters. Without emitting a single radar pulse, the WSO designates the hostile tracks and tasks 2 supersonic CCA-1 escorts, Dark Sword 1 and Dark Sword 2, to intercept. The J-20S briefly illuminates the targets with its powerful AESA radar, feeding precise targeting data to the CCA-1s via the secure data link before going silent again. The unmanned fighters accelerate to supersonic speed and engage, while Dragon Lead remains cloaked in stealth, orchestrating the battle from a position of relative safety. This scenario demonstrates the core tenets of the airhive concept: force multiplication, where one manned platform controls multiple assets; risk transference, where unmanned systems are sent into the highest threat zones; and coordinated multi-axis attacks that can overwhelm an adversary's defenses. This entire operational philosophy, however, is fundamentally conservative. China's decision to rely on a WSO for direct, continuous command, rather than on more advanced artificial intelligence, ensures absolute human oversight and mitigates the risk of algorithmic drift, where an autonomous system might make a catastrophic error. Yet, this human-centric model imposes a hard limit on scalability. For every small group of drones, the PLEF must field a highly complex, 2-crew stealth fighter. This makes the J-20s a high-value centralized node, a single point of failure upon which the effectiveness of an entire multi-million-dollar drone swarm depends. If Dragon Lead is detected and destroyed, its robotic wingmen are effectively orphaned. This suggests that the J-20S may be a transitional solution, a pragmatic bridge that allows the PLAF to field a formidable manned-unmanned teaming capability today, while its software for true, resilient, AI-driven swarming continues to mature. Placed in a global context, the airhive doctrine stands in stark contrast to the emerging philosophy in the West, particularly the United States Air Force's Next Generation Air Dominance (NGAD) program. NGAD is envisioned as a family of systems centered on a highly advanced sixth-generation manned fighter, conceptually designated the F-47, operating in concert with a much larger number of collaborative combat aircraft. While the J-20s is designed to control a handful of specialized, relatively high-cost UCAVs like the GJ-11 and the conceptual Dark Sword, the American approach emphasizes affordable mass. The CCAs being developed, such as the Boeing MQ-28 Ghost Bat and the Kratos XQ-58 Valkyrie are designed to be less expensive and more attritable, produced in large numbers to augment the manned fleet. The core philosophical difference lies in the control architecture. The PLAF's model is hierarchical and human-intensive, with a WSO micromanaging a small team. The USAF's vision is more distributed, where a single pilot, heavily augmented by artificial intelligence, acts as a mission commander for potentially dozens of CCAs that possess a much higher degree of autonomy, able to execute complex tasks with minimal human intervention. This divergence may also be rooted in economics. Fifth-generation fighters are prohibitively expensive, and their production numbers are limited. The airhive concept offers the PLAF a way to generate combat mass asymmetrically. By using a single J-20S to multiply the combat power of several cheaper, more expendable drones, China can project a larger and more complex threat without needing to build and crew 1,000 J-20s. It is a strategy to scale air power in an era where the cost of individual manned platforms is a limiting factor. The J-20s itself is likely a transitional platform, a crucial step on the path to sixth-generation warfare. Its future effectiveness will be heavily dependent on the long-awaited arrival of the WS-15 engine to unlock its full kinematic potential. The evolution of the Airhive will be paced by China's progress in artificial intelligence, secure networking, and autonomous systems, which will eventually allow for the control of larger, more resilient swarms, perhaps even from dedicated drone mothership aircraft. For now, the J-20s and its robotic retinue represent a formidable and innovative system that provides the PLAF with a significant near-term capability. It is a powerful bridge to the future of air combat, but its foundational reliance on a centralized manned command node may ultimately prove to be a strategic vulnerability as the era of true, decentralized, AI-driven swarm warfare dawns.